The market for combined smoke and carbon monoxide smart alarms is hardly awash with options, and those that are available are tied to specific ecosystems. What we're looking at today is the Sensereo MSC-1 smoke and carbon monoxide smart alarm, likely to be the least exciting smart home device you'll own, but ultimately one that could potentially save your life. In this video, I'm looking at what this has to offer, finding out what it can and can't do, and ultimately finding out how well it performs. Hey everyone, my name's Simon and welcome to Byte of Geek, a channel that's all about home assistant and smart home technology. So a big thank you to Sensereo for sending out the smoke and carbon monoxide smart alarm to test and review on the channel. As always, they've had no editorial input into this video and you'll get my honest thoughts and opinions about it. So on the box then, and you'll see that it's got Matter and Thread logos. So for this, you're going to need a Matter over Thread border router to be able to use it. And I'll touch on this a little bit more in just a moment. This is the MSC-1, which is a combined smoke and carbon monoxide alarm, and it supports all the major smart home ecosystems, including Apple Home and Home Assistant. So I think pretty much everyone should be able to use this. Inside the box, we have the alarm itself, which has a pre-installed CR123A battery, screws and plugs for mounting, and a proper instruction leaflet. The alarm looks like any regular smoke alarm you can pick up at your DIY store. On the front, it has an LCD display which lights up, and on the side is a test button which also doubles as a hush button, and around the side is an LED strip that changes colour according to the alert status. The unit has a base that you just twist to remove, and then on the underside of the alarm you have your battery compartment, the Matter pairing code, and over on the side you have a little lever for turning the alarm on or off. Rather cleverly, when you're twisting the alarm to fit it onto the base plate, or if you're removing it, then the lever will automatically be flicked to turn the alarm on or off. The alarm uses a single CR123A battery, and Sensereo claims up to 3 years of battery life, but of course that will vary depending on your settings and usage, and more on that in just a minute. So to get started with the alarm then, well, you just turn it on, and as you can see on the display, you then get a 60-second countdown for the carbon monoxide sensor initialization, as well as a flashing green ring around the outside edge. Now at this point, you can either use the alarm just as a regular dumb alarm, or if you want to use the smart features, then you'll need to add it into your smart home ecosystem. There's no app or account registration required for this, and you just add it in as you would any other Matter over Thread device. And this goes some way to explain why you get a proper instruction manual in the box rather than having an app to guide you through the various processes. Taking a quick look at some of the details of this alarm then, and it has a photoelectric sensor for smoke detection and an electrochemical sensor for carbon monoxide detection. It features an 85 decibel alarm at 3 meters away, and that is quite loud when it goes off. The device has a 10-year lifespan, which is pretty standard for carbon monoxide detectors, and it's fitted with a replaceable CR123A battery with an estimated lifespan of 3 years. It meets both EN 14604 and EN 50291 standards and has TÜV Rheinland certification. Communication is via Matter over Thread, and it'll work with all the major smart home ecosystems. Something that's worth pointing out for my American audience, as mentioned, the MSC-1 meets 2 safety standards. However, those are for the UK and EU. And whilst you can buy this for use in America, and many people have, it could possibly nullify any insurance claim. However, Sensereo are working on this and hope to have a fully US certified version available soon. As I mentioned earlier, the MSC-1 uses a photoelectric sensor for smoke detection, and this kind of sensor is best for detecting smouldering fires that you might get from things like furniture and bedding or even wiring. They have a quick response time and they're less likely to go off when you burn the toast in the morning. With the electrochemical sensor for carbon monoxide detection, it can detect incredibly minute parts per million changes in gas levels and provides almost zero false alarms, all whilst having low power consumption, making them ideal for battery powered alarms. To use this in my smart home, I'm using an SM Lite dongle flashed to be a Thread border router, and I've got that connected to Home Assistant. After adding the MSC-1 as a new Matter device in the Home Assistant companion app, it then just automatically appeared in Home Assistant. The MSC-1 exposes 4 main sensors, those being carbon monoxide parts per million, contamination state, and finally we have smoke. We have a configuration option for the sensitivity to change that to high or standard, which is the default, or low, and we also have firmware as well. In diagnostic information, we have the battery details, end of service and fault indicators, along with a self-test action. Sensereo also offers another alarm in their product range, the MS-1, and this is purely a smoke alarm. It has a slightly different design to the MSC-1, but again, it uses Matter over Thread for connectivity and meets the same level of certification as the MSC-1. So if you're looking for just a smart smoke alarm, then this may well be an option. The advantage with this alarm is that for a small increase in the price, you're getting the best of both worlds by having the carbon monoxide detector as well. Often when we're installing these types of alarms, we opt for a pure smoke alarm version, whereas it's just as important, if not more so, to have one that detects carbon monoxide as well. Now, when I set up a device for testing in my home, it's usually a straightforward thing to do. But with something like a smoke and carbon monoxide alarm, then it's just a little different for obvious reasons. So in testing this, and I'll caveat this now, this is far from scientific. However, products like this don't get their certifications and standards if they don't work. With the MSC-1 set up, I've tested the smoke alarm using bits of paper and small pieces of fabric all put into a bowl with the alarm held above it. With low level smoke, the alarm wasn't triggered at all, but when I put more paper in and the smoke increased, then the alarm did go off, which when we look in Home Assistant, you can see that the sensors are now actively showing smoke as being detected. With carbon monoxide, I'm using some of this sleep safe carbon monoxide alarm tester, which is the recommended approach to test your alarms. Now, it does say that this is a controlled amount of carbon monoxide in helium, which makes it safe to use in a test like this. However, it is sufficient to ensure that your alarm is working correctly. So, following the instructions, you just put the alarm into a freezer bag and seal it up as much as possible, and then spray 3 seconds worth of this into the bag and then close it fully. Now, I've not sped up this section of the video so that you can see how quickly the alarm detects the amount of carbon monoxide, and as you can see, it doesn't take long before the alarm goes off and the LED ring starts flashing red. This is with the alarm on its default setting of normal sensitivity. Again, looking in Home Assistant, and you can see that the sensors are actively showing carbon monoxide being detected and the parts per million. I've been using this Sensereo alarm for a while, and according to Home Assistant, it's still reporting a 99% battery level, with it only dropping that 1% during the initial setup and testing that I did. Sensereo estimates up to 3 years of battery life, which obviously is going to vary according to your own personal circumstances and the environment that it's operating in. And obviously, I can't verify that claim, but the CR123A batteries in general, when used in something like a smoke alarm, can last anywhere between 2 and 5 years. Now, I know that some people are on the fence as to whether you should install smart versions of devices like this, with questions like what if your smart home system is offline, or everything will stop working if the internet goes down. However, with the Sensereo MSC-1, you're really getting the best of both worlds here. As a smart device, you get the wide smart home ecosystem compatibility and the ability to create those automations and notifications. But at the same time, you have the offline aspect, which fundamentally keeps the safety features all running no matter what. That alone makes this a well thought out device with a focus primarily on safety rather than a smart home. However, there's one thing that's missing from the MSC-1, which, depending on where you are in the world and how many of these you want to install, might well be an issue, and that is interlinking. As a non-smart device, it doesn't have that feature at all, and as a smart device, then according to the website, support for alarm interlinking depends on platform level implementations within smart home ecosystems. When you look at what's exposed in Home Assistant, then there doesn't seem to be the option to manually trigger the alarm other than the self-test. If this option existed, then it would be perfect for creating an interlinking automation. I've reached out to Sensereo about this, as it may well be something they can provide via a firmware update, and I'll put an update in the description of this video when I hear back. The MSC-1 is a well-built alarm that's easy to install, doesn't require any kind of third-party app, and has all of the certification you need to give you confidence it's going to do its job properly. If you want to pick up the Sensereo MSC-1 alarm, then it's available now for £52.99. I'll leave an affiliate link in the description below. Alternatively, you can scan the QR code shown on the screen here if you prefer to do that. If you found this video helpful, then I'd appreciate a thumbs up, and why not subscribe to the channel for more smart home content like this. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.